Good morning, students. Myself, Major Komal Katyal, Department of Zoology, GK Gowani Government College, Pinma. Today, we will discuss about the oogenesis and its final part. As we know, we have already discussed about the dictyate state in my previous lecture. Now, let us continue that topic on the dictyate stage further. It is a sort of status where the developing oocyte arrests in the diplotin of the first meiotic prophase following initial maturation while the mother is in embryo in her mother's womb. It means that the dictyate stage is actually a stage in the developing oocyte where the development, it means the development arrest in the meiosis first stage. Now, at the time of meiosis first, it is mediated by a meiosis stabilizing factor that is secreted by the follicle cells of the primordial follicles. At the beginning of the menstrual cycle, a number of oocytes in the primordial follicles are stimulated by pituitary gonadotropins to continue their maturation, and mainly due to the luteinizing hormone, that is LH concentration. Either blocks or deactivates the meiosis stabilizing factor. As a result, the egg maturation continues and the meiosis first occurs. In many species, including the human beings, the oocyte then arrests at metaphase of meiosis II until after fertilization. So during this state, a stage of arrest in the further development or the oogenesis takes place. Now, what are the sources of energy and raw material and information in the case of egg? During the pre-vitellogenic phase, it occurs only in the early diplotin. During the dictyate stage, the diplotin may be as long as 50 plus years. The Lamb-Bruch chromosomes forms RNA transcription, including the cytoplasmic information for the development. Now, at the time of vitellogenic phase, that is the vitellogenesis, it starts after the egg is stimulated to continue its maturation. And all these occurs during middle to the late diplotin. So there is importance of diplotin of meiosis first during the oogenesis. Now, what are the vitellogenins? The vitellogenins are estrogen stimulates synthesis of vitellogenin in the liver or the equivalent organ. It means the formation of yolk takes place in the liver or homologous or equivalent organ, and after the synthesis it is then transported to the ovary by the circulatory system, and the follicle cells then absorb or imbibe these yolk platelets or yolk granule, whatever the case may be. The molecular structure of vitellogenins modified in the egg. Deposition of yolk in cytoplasm mediated by enzymes, endoplasmic reticulum, and Golgi bodies, mitochondria. So yolk platelets are ultimately formed inside the developing oocytes. Vitellins are the definite yolk. Their composition include lipid, protein, carbohydrate, and phosphorus. Now, how the amount of yolk affect the type of egg? Let us discuss about this in this slide. They are the polylecithal or the megalecithal eggs. It means in the case of those eggs where the amount of yolk is huge, as in the case of reptiles, birds, and some bony fishes. The mesolecithal egg, the medium amount of yolk which is generally present in the amphibians. The microlecithal or oligolecithal egg, where very little amount of yolk is present in the case of most mammals, specifically the placental mammals. Now, the classification of egg by distribution of yolk. Telolacethal, if the yolk is distributed in gradient, it means it is concentrated towards one pole of egg, that is the vegetal pole, which we have already studied in my previous lecture, as in the case of amphibians, and it affects the type of cleavage. The isolacethal, it means the yolk is evenly distributed throughout the egg cytoplasm, as in the case of most mammals and sea urchins. Now, these are the four examples of types of egg on the basis of amount or distribution of yolk. Alacetal, granular yolk is present, it is evenly distributed. Mesolacetal, amount of yolk only towards the vegetal pole in amphibians. Telolacetal, in the case of yolky eggs of birds and reptiles, only the active cytoplasm is limited only at the animal pole. And centrolacetal, in the case of insect, where the yolk is present only in the center. Now, coming to our next topic, which is also related with oogenesis, is the egg membranes. What are the egg membranes? In simple language, we can say those membranes which surround a ovum can be known as the egg membranes. Just like all the other animal cell, ovum is an animal cell which is surrounded by a plasma membrane. Now, the membranes which surrounds the plasma membrane are known as the accessory membrane. कहने का मतलब यह है कि जो अंडा है, अंडे के चारों तरफ एक प्लाज्मा झिल्ली होती है और इस प्लाज्मा झिल्ली के चारों तरफ कुछ सहायक झिल्लियों का निर्माण होता है, जिनको अंडे की झिल्लियां कहते हैं. These egg membranes can be classified into following type on the basis of their origin. The primary egg membranes, they are the vitelline membrane, zona radiata, zona pellucida, and jelly envelope. The secondary egg membranes like corona radiata, and tertiary egg membranes like albumin, jelly coat, and shell membranes. So we are talking about the egg membranes. Now first we will deal about the primary egg membranes. What are primary egg membranes? Those membranes which are formed just outside the plasma membrane, and they are generally secreted by the surrounding follicle cell, and part of these primary egg membranes are also contributed by the developing oocyte. Now let us take different examples of the primary egg membranes. प्राथमिक झिल्लियां वह झिल्लियां होती हैं जो ओवम या अंडे के बिल्कुल बाहर प्लाज्मा झिल्ली से लगी हुई होती हैं. Vitelline membrane is formed of mucopolysaccharides and certain fibrous proteins. Say for example, in the case of insects, amphibians, and birds, such kind of vitelline membrane is present. Second one is the zona radiata. As the name indicates, it means radiations are there. It means striations which are actually developed from the degraded microvilli of oocyte. What are these microvilli? What are the function of microvilli in the developing oocyte? These microvilli are basically responsible for performing two functions. First, to increase the surface area, and second, they are responsible for performing the function of micropinocytosis. It means they are responsible for absorbing the yolk particles or yolk granules which were earlier formed in liver or some other organs. And the zona radiata is perforated with pores, and these pores are called micropiles, as in the case of certain sharks and some bony fishes. Now next one is the zona pellucida. The zona pellucida is formed of secretion both from the ovum and the follicle cells, and it has unstriated appearance. It means unlike the zona radiata, The Jonah pellucida has no striation as in the case of mammals. The fourth type of primary egg membrane includes the jelly envelope, which is formed of jelly and it is much thicker, as you can see in the case of echinoderms. Initially, the primary egg membranes are closely adhered to the plasma membrane of the developing oocyte, but at a later stage, a fluid-filled space appears between the two, and this space is known as the perivitelline space, which is filled by a vitelline fluid. कहने का मतलब यह है कि प्राथमिक भ्रूणीय झिल्लियों के निर्माण के दौरान प्राथमिक भ्रूणीय झिल्ली और प्लाज्मा कला के बीच में कोई भी स्पेस या जगह नहीं होती। जैसे जैसे परिपक्वन होता है वैसे वैसे उसके भी मध्य एक जगह का निर्माण होता है और उस जगह पे पीतक फ्लूइड, वाइटलाइन फ्लूइड उपस्थित रहता है। नाउ let us discuss about the secondary egg membranes, द्वितीयक भ्रूणीय झिल्लियां या द्वितीयक अंड झिल्लियां। They are secreted outside the primary egg membranes by a layer of follicle cells. In eggs of insects, ascidians and cyclostrom, it occurs in the form of chitinous shell and it is known as chorion. In amphibians, it forms a thin membrane outside the vitelline membrane. Now, द्वितीयक भ्रूणीय झिल्लियां या द्वितीयक अंड झिल्लियां उदाहरण के तौर पे कीटों के अंदर एक काइटिन के समान शेल की बनी हुई होती हैं जिसको हम कोरियन कहते हैं। In the case of mammals, the corona radiata is present which surrounds the Jonah pellucida in the mammalian egg, but it is not a true membrane. इसको हम वास्तविक अंडीय झिल्ली नहीं मानते हैं, क्योंकि जैसे जैसे अंडा अंडवाहिनी के अंदर से गुजरता है तो जो कोरोना रेडिएटा की कोशिकाएं हैं वो धीरे धीरे वहां से हटती जाती हैं। Now let us discuss about the tertiary egg membranes. अब हम बात करेंगे तृतीयक अंडीय झिल्लियों के बारे में। They are formed either by the oviduct or some other maternal tissue but other than the ovary. ये वह भ्रूणीय झिल्लियां होती हैं जो अंडाशय के अलावा मादा के किसी भी शरीर के भाग से या अंडवाहिनी से इनका निर्माण होता है। Say for example the albumin which surrounds the egg in the oviparous elasmobranch. So we were talking about the albumin which is present in the oviparous elasmobranchs and the horny egg capsule in the case of eggs of sharks and skates, which are also examples of cartilaginous fishes. Then the jelly coat around the amphibian oocyte, it is also secreted by oviduct. And then the albumin, the egg white and the shell membranes and the shell around the eggs of reptiles and aves are also secreted by different parts of the oviduct. जो तृतीयक अंड झिल्लियां हैं या तृतीयक भ्रूणीय झिल्लियां हैं ये अंडवाहिनी या मादा के शरीर के किसी अन्य भाग द्वारा निर्मित होती हैं एवं अंडाशय द्वारा निर्मित नहीं होती। उदाहरण के तौर पर एल्बुमिन, जेलीकोट, कवच की झिल्लियां या कवच जो सरीसृप और पक्षियों के अंदर पाया जाता है। Now what are the function of these egg membranes? The main function, as it is clear, protection from different ecological hazards. It may be temperature, pH or whatever. They prevent the cell fertilization. They provide buoyancy to the eggs, as in the case of amphibia. They prevent the entry of many sperms. It means they prevent the polyspermy. The egg white as extra source of nourishment for the developing embryo, as in the case of birds. They fasten the egg mass to a twig of aquatic plant. And in the case of mammalia, the mammalian Jonah pellucida maintains cleavage and prevents the egg fusion, and also it prevents the polyspermy. So Here I conclude my lecture on oogenesis. Thank you.